Today we will first take up a question that someone has asked. I do not feel that love for Baba. I do not feel that yoga with Baba all the time. So what should I do? Yes, so there is difficulty having constant yoga and even love for Baba. Now you see, the basis of love is relationship and attainment. Yes, so you love the one, you remember the one who you have all relationships with. And you also love and remember the one from whom you have all attainments. Now, the interesting thing is, we have been conditioned to believe that our relationships are with bodily beings. And we have been conditioned to believe that whatever I need or the attainments that I'm seeking will come from the material world and from bodily beings. So, this is why, we are not able to, because you see, Ravan, we have been in Ravan Rajya. We have been in this, falsehood for a good 63 births. So, because we have been in this falsehood where we have been confused, we have been, falsified by Ravan, and Ravan has made us believe that, Ravan has infused us with first body consciousness. And then in that body consciousness, we have been programmed to believe that all my relationships and attainments are there in the material world from the bodily beings. But the reality is that I am a soul, and my needs are spiritual, not physical. The soul needs happiness, peace, love. All of it comes from Baba. And then the soul has all relationships with Baba. But you know what? It takes a long time to convince somebody about what they really want. Because you see, I remember there was this one sister, and she left one job after the other, 5 jobs she left. And then she would always tell me that I didn't like this about this job, I didn't like that about this job. And then one day I asked her, what do you want? So you are always leaving a job and you're telling me what you don't want in that job. But just ask yourself one question, what do you really want? And she said, I don't know. So I said, you see, most people don't know what they want. And we think that, I want a big car, I want a big house, I want a big, I want a relationship that is always, loving me, serving me. You think you want all of that. You want a person, you want a loving human being, you want a car, you want a bungalow, you want a job, you want, post, position. But actually, when you find all of that, then you realize this is not what you want. Because what you really want is inner contentment. And even when you go on acquiring all of these things, that which you are seeking through all of this stays very distant. And then Baba says that I come and I give you what you really want. I come and give you what you're really seeking. And Baba says, you have no idea what you're seeking. Actually, you're seeking purity. Actually, you're seeking peace, and not the peace that you think you're seeking. You think that everybody in the world, if they kept quiet, then you would be peaceful. Or they are doing all the wrong things, that's why you're losing your peace. But it's not like that. Baba says you need the true peace that you will get when you sit in your swadharma, that I am a peaceful soul. You need purity, you need to imbibe knowledge. And then we keep saying, no, no, Baba, you don't understand what I really need. I don't need what you're giving me. I need something else. You're giving me something else. And then Baba says, no, I know better than you. Yes. Sometimes patients also try to tell the doctor that this is not the medicine I need. I need some other medicine. So, I was talking to one brother one day, and he's a doctor, and he was telling me that, sister, patients come and tell us that you prescribe this medicine for me on your paper. And they say that I don't want to be examined, I don't want to be prescribed something with your knowledge. Just I give you the name of the medicine and you prescribe it, and we will eat it and I will be fine. And then I tell them, how can you know what medicine you need? And they say, no, no, I know that. Whenever I eat it, I'm feeling better. So then the doctor said, then I asked, if you're feeling better, are you getting better also? You feeling better is fine, but are you getting better by eating that medicine? And then they say, no, no, we don't know whether getting better is a very difficult concept to understand. So at least let me feel better. So the doctor says that the patient thinks that he knows better than the doctor what medicine would work for him. And similarly, we also think that, Baba says, get up at Amrit Vela, listen to Murli every day, practice purity of food and body and mind and wealth. And then we say, no, no, Baba, you don't understand. I don't need all of this. My problems will not get solved by getting up at Amrit Vela, will it? My problems are very physical, very mundane. But the thing is, God knows. And people, so it is said about God that God knows. And why is it said about God that God knows? Because God really knows what you need, what is your deepest desire, and you need to move with faith. You need to do. So, because we had been given 63 births of enough time to figure out what we really want and how we will get it. And we have tried really hard and we have failed. And when you fail so often, you need to surrender. So when we have failed enough to surrender. And now just put your ego aside, and that ego which tells you, you know better than God. Just put that ego aside and just listen to what he says and do what he says. And believe me, he knows better than you about what you know, what you really need, what you really want, and how you will get it. And then when you have this faith that my Baba is the one who will give me what I really want, then you will have love for him. But until and unless you have that, that faith which comes with this churning, that actually I have not been able to find what I was seeking until today. So let me just surrender to Baba and let me just do what he says and have that love and faith for this one. I have had love and faith for so many human beings and they have betrayed me badly. So let me just, have love and faith for Baba, who is at least not going to betray me. So even if I'm not, even if I'm not 100% convinced that he would give me what I am seeking, or I will reach my destination, at least I know that there is no loss here. So let me just surrender with my heart and just have, again, try to have that love for Baba. Because, sometimes you give up in the end. Yes. So most people give up in the end. And most people, just when they were about to crack it, they just get tired and give up. So Baba says, you had love and faith for 63 births, and that too for those people who betrayed you always. And now, what am I asking? I'm just asking you to have that same love and faith and dedication and surrender for me. Can't you take that one chance? And if you took that one chance, then you would realize that this time you made the right bet. But if you have a broken heart and then you have no trust, no love and faith, then you would say, no, this chance also I'm not going to give. And then you would leave empty handed. So Baba says that, Baba is just every day, Baba is kind of, urging us to take those steps on Baba's Srimad, which will lead to a life of happiness and peace, that life which we have been seeking for so long. So this is the answer. And then today Baba says that if you fail, then do not just stop and, just keep failing and then one day declare that I am a failure. Yes, you will fall, you will fail. But then even if you fall, what do you do? So what do you do when you fall? Yes, what do you do when you fall? So you have to, there are sometimes, you fall so badly that you can't get up on your own. And then what do? You give your hand to somebody's hand. And then that person, you ask them to lift you up. Yes, and you have to seek help to get up. And that is how you get up from a bad fall, don't you? And Baba says that in this path also you will fail, you will fall. But then what do? You go and tell Baba, seek his help, seek his hand. You talk to Baba. You talk to Baba that you failed. You talk to Baba about your failures. You talk to Baba about how you couldn't, do something on Srimad, or how you missed following Baba's directions, or how you made a mistake. And then you take the medicine from the surgeon and heal yourself. And then next time you will not fall in the same place. So you see, Baba says that I am the surgeon and I give you the medicine. And why did you make a mistake? Why did Maya attack you? Because you had not built enough spiritual strength. And then if you tell me, if you honestly share with me, I will give you the medicine, I will give you the direction, how to, build your spiritual strength. Because you see, sometimes, you think that if I just don't want to make a mistake, I will not make a mistake. But no, you need understanding and power both to not make a mistake. Do you know good karma is the privilege of a powerful soul? You cannot be a weak soul and do good karma. It doesn't work like that. Yes, a soul who is not knowledgeful, loveful, pure, powerful, cannot do good karma. And you see, the knowledge of karma, the knowledge of at least, what you shouldn't do, has been around for very long. The Gita says that Kam Mahashatru hai, lust is our greatest enemy. This is not something new. Yes, these 5 vices, lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed, are the reason for a person's downfall, has long been known through the Shastras. It's not something new. Buddha said that the root cause of sorrow is expectation, didn't he? So this is not new knowledge. The new knowledge is the solution. The new knowledge is not the problem. So everybody knows what the problem is. Everybody knows that, the vices are the problem. But nobody knows how to overcome the vices. And Baba says, how do you overcome the vices? By filling yourself with the power of knowledge and the power of yoga, the power of purity and the power of good wishes, blessings. So these are the powers that you need. So you see, the soul is right now in a weak condition, and weak souls perform bad actions. That's the law. Weak souls will always perform bad actions. So how do you rise above from that condition where you don't make a mistake? So you have to fill yourself with the power of knowledge. And for that, you have to every day, listen to the Murli, churn on the Murli. You see, so Baba says that when you fail, tell Baba. And what solution will Baba give? Baba will give the solution about purity, about yoga, about, churning the Murli, about doing seva and earning blessings. But then you have to walk on that solution. So if you go and take medicine from the doctor and not have that medicine, will you get cured? No. So Baba says, so whenever you fail, don't think that, don't again, go into that ego game that I failed and nobody should know about it. Because we have been, hypocrisy is a big part of our life these days. So you fail, you make a mistake, but nobody should know about it. And you think that then it will be fine. So you see, I have a friend and she's a CEO in a company, and then she was one day telling me that she's not in Gyan, and we were just having a conversation, and then she was telling me that, you know what I have learned in life? I have learned that however sad you are, however dejected you feel, however low you feel, just dress up and show. And then I told her, you see, maybe this is something that you have trained yourself into, or you have learned because you were in certain situations and you didn't know better. But what I understand is, if you don't heal the wound inside, then just putting over layers of bandages will not help. Yes, you need to take the medicine, you need to heal the wound. Otherwise, dressing up and showing up will become more and more difficult every day. And I asked her, tell me honestly, is it not becoming more and more difficult every day? And then she said, yes, that's true. She said that, these days I feel so low that sometimes, in the middle of the meeting, I want to just run away. And then I feel that, no, I have to put up a brave front, and then I have to be sitting with dignity here. So I just try to put that up with a lot of effort. And you see, this is what, so Baba says, there is no hypocrisy that will work. You don't have to, and at least, even if we have been hiding our failures from people because we think they'll judge or they'll not understand, that's okay. Maybe people might be judgmental, and maybe it's not a good idea to share everything with everybody. But then with Baba, you have to be absolutely honest. But when something becomes a sanskar, you do it very unknowingly. And hypocrisy has become a sanskar. And then what do? Even with Baba, we are trying to just put up a pure front, peaceful front, and not address our mistakes, not address our failures. But Baba says, just be very open with me. Tell, so you don't hide anything from the doctor. So I am the healer, I am the surgeon, I am the doctor. Bear your heart before me. And then also, because I am the doctor, I am the healer, you have to also take the medicine I gave you. Yes, and if you don't take it, then how will you get healed? Because if you are not better, how will you do better? So you need to, Baba will give us. So how do you do that? Now, when you talk to Baba, first thing, there are two methods, and you can do both together or one of it, whichever you want. So first thing is you, in yoga, you share everything with Baba. You tell Baba everything in yoga, and then in the Murli, you look for your answers. Yes, so Baba will give you all the solutions in the Murli. But most children, who are making mistakes, most children who are not, who are not in that powerful state of being, they sometimes cannot understand what solution Baba is giving through the Murli. Yes, because if you are, if you're insensible enough to make a mistake, then how can you be sensible enough to, figure out what Baba is saying? So then the second method is, if you have faith in your instrument teacher, which in your case is I, you can share everything clearly with me. And then when you share everything clearly, we will directly tell you. So, it's not like you have to look for answers in a Murli and try to interpret what is my solution, what is Baba trying to tell me. But if you tell me, I will tell you, you do this, or you make this change, or make this adjustment, or practice this. But you need to do that. Yes, if you just take the solution and not do it, then it will not work. Because you see, many a times when children are attending the course, then they keep asking questions, and we keep telling them, continue with the classes after the course. Yes, listen to the classes every day, listen to the Murli every day. But they don't do that. And then they keep thinking that, maybe my questions are not being answered. But what is the answer? The answer is this only. Keep listening to the Murli, keep doing yoga, keep paying attention to purity, earn the power of blessings through seva. If we tell people that do seva, they think that, there is something that we need. No, this is God's work. It will go on anyway. But if you don't do seva, then how will you earn the power of blessings? And how will you become free from making mistakes? How will you become free from becoming a failure? So Baba says that the solutions will be given, but the solutions, just like in the first half of the class, I explained that, when you're body conscious, you think that my problems are physical and my solutions are physical, but they are not. You are a soul. Your problems are arising from the spiritual weakness within. And your solutions also lie in building spiritual strength through the power of knowledge, power of yoga, power of purity, and power of blessings. And then there are other powers of being disciplined, the power of discipline, the power of consistency. There are so many powers, and if we keep following Srimad, we will gain all these powers and not make the mistakes that we make. And do you know, when we fail, what happens? So a failure, so for example, you engage in an act of lust, anger. So what is failure? That also has to be understood. So what is failure in Gyan Marg? Engaging in an act of lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed is failure. There is no other failure. And when you do that, then what do you do? So what happens when you do that? So the consequence of this failure is that it becomes more and more difficult to get up and rise. It's like you have fallen. And then you need Baba, you need strength, you need directions, you need the power of that support from Baba and the Nimit, so that, so you get support through the Nimit. And then what do? You rise above it. Otherwise, you will keep failing in isolation, and then one day you will declare yourself a failure to yourself, and then have no hope and faith in yourself that I can improve and rise. And Baba doesn't want that. And then Baba says, all failing means giving into vices, and lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed are all vices. But then there is a difference between falling from the 5th floor and falling from the 2nd floor. And falling from the 5th floor means giving into lust. So lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed, these are the 5 floors. So if you've given into lust, then it's falling from the 5th floor, and then you need a lot of help. You need a lot of yoga with Baba. You need a lot of solutions, and you need to follow those solutions so that you can rise above that. So Baba says, don't get disheartened. And what happens is, if you don't take the path of honesty, of honest sharing, of taking directions, moving ahead, and if you just feed that sanskar of hypocrisy and tell yourself that, okay, I failed, but I cannot face the fact that I failed, and I must not share it with anybody, then what happens is, slowly, gradually, you lose all confidence in yourself, and then you're not able to stay on the path. So this is something that Baba says. And then second thing Baba today says is, if you want to be akhand means continuous. So if you want to be akhand in bliss, akhand in peace, akhand in happiness, then what do? You never let anybody influence you. So you see, Baba says you can become akhand, or you can become stable, or continuous in all virtues only when you have akhand yoga, only when your yoga with the bestower of all virtues is continuous. But how will you have continuous yoga? So you see, when you get up in the morning, first thing you're remembering Baba, yes, and then it is very natural. And the law of psychology says that you remember the one you remember in the morning all day. So according to, the way the mind works, if you have remembered somebody in the morning, then you will remember that person all day. But here we we make a plan, we get up at Amrit Vela, we remember Baba very diligently in the morning, but then again we forget Baba all through the day. Why is that so? It shouldn't happen like that. But why is that happening? Because we have this sanskar of getting influenced by company. So, if you're with an angry person, you influence you take their anger and absorb it. Or, if you're with somebody who is talking too much, then your mind also starts working faster. So, we are getting influenced all the time. And Baba says, whatever you see, whatever you hear, all that is Kaliyugi, it is impure. And when it has an impact on your mind, then you cannot remember Baba, and then you cannot be continually blissful, continually peaceful. So then what do you have to do? You have to safeguard yourself from being influenced by anything and anyone outside. And for that, you have to practice being soul conscious. So, you have to use all the knowledge, you have to use the knowledge of the drama, knowledge of the soul. You have to be soul conscious and then not let anything influence you. Because if you get influenced, then, if a person, a vibration, an environment, anything on the external, some pain in the body, and your intellect has absorbed it, your mind has absorbed it, then that mind and intellect cannot go and sit with Baba. Yes, so you have to understand that it is all there, it will be there, but do not allow your intellect and your mind to get absorbed by it. And how do you do that? So the mind gets absorbed in something when you pay attention to it, when you allow your attention to linger on something. And second is your mind gets influenced by something when you think about it. So make this a rule that I will not think about, or I will not pay attention or allow my intellect to linger on something that is defected. So there are defects all around. There are defects in the body, there are defects even in my own sanskars. Yes, have you seen situations when you get influenced by your own impure sanskars? Yes, so there are two ways in which you become influenced. One way is when you pay so much attention to your sanskars that you start saying, this is me. Yes, suppose you have a sanskar of laziness, and then you pay so much attention to that sanskar that you start saying, I am a lazy person, I cannot do so much. I do not have that kind of energy. And this is one way in which you become absorbed by your own sanskars. And then second way in which you become absorbed by your own sanskar is you think so much about your weak sanskar that you start feeling guilty about it. And you start losing confidence in yourself. So Baba says, you must know that knowledge tells you that there are defects all around. There are defects in your body, there are defects in your sanskars, there are defects in people, there are defects in the environment, in the vibrations. There are defects all around, and you will see them, hear them, but do not allow your attention to linger on it. Do not think about it. Just put a full stop. And there are 3 full stops that Baba has given. The full stop of the soul, the full stop of Baba, and the full stop of drama. It is what it is. Every soul is different. It's okay. And every soul is Baba's child, so no problem. this drama is something that Baba loves, so I have no problem with the drama. So just, put a full stop and don't allow your mind and intellect to get absorbed in it. Because when you allow that, then what happens is you cannot have yoga with Baba, because our yoga is the yoga of the mind and intellect. And when our mind and intellect is absorbed in worldly vibrations, then it cannot get absorbed in Baba's love. And then how can you be akhand blissful, akhand peaceful, akhand, happy? So if you want to be that, then this is the method. And you see, I remember, in the beginning, whenever I used to go to the market, I would get so drained that after that, I would not have the energy to have yoga or anything, not read the Murli, nothing. And then slowly, gradually, I started becoming very conscious that when I go to the market, I have to pay attention that I am a soul and everything is out there, and I am in a detached state, in a very peaceful state, in a very happy state. I am moving through this marketplace, not absorbing any vibrations. And then, I started getting, I was very consciously, I practiced this. And then when I used to come back home, I was not drained at all. I used to buy what I had to buy. But I was not, when you don't keep your mind and intellect busy, when you don't keep your mind and intellect in awareness and attention, then what happens is it has no work to do. Then if it has got no work to do, then it starts doing the work that the environment is giving it. So then, it starts absorbing this, because the nature of the intellect is to absorb. Have you seen, as soon as you make your intellect reach Baba, it starts absorbing. So the nature of the intellect is to absorb. The nature of the mind is to think. If you don't give it some address, some destination, then it will absorb and think about whatever is in and around. So this is the way, you kind of, protect yourself from the vibrations and influences outside. And then you can be an akhand yogi and akhand in all qualities. Okay? Om Shanti.